I personally believe that in order to create the metabolic change needed to reverse autoimmune or any type of
Mhm.
chronic illness, that we have to shock the system.
Mm.
We have to intentionally put our minds and bodies into a state of fight or flight to then calmly teach ourselves how to remain calm through that. Also, by putting our bodies into a state of fight or flight, all of our systems have to come online and work at optimum efficiency in order to keep you alive. So it's almost like this reset for your internal system like, oh, this is how we're supposed to behave and operate. This is what we're supposed to do to keep the body alive. I also believe that by creating this external resilience, it's like giving the dog a job.
Mhm.
That dog doesn't have a job. Our bodies are attacking ourselves. That's not the right way to do it.
Mm.
The dog that doesn't have a job destroys your home or your apartment.
Right.
Dog that has a job is calm. So by introducing this external resilience, this extreme
Something to actually
excitement,
be fight or flight about. Because so many
yeah,
of us, because like, that's what I was gonna say, like, but people are already in fight or flight. So,
mhm.
like, but you put them and
So
the
was
body's like,
I for the
"Oh,
first
this
36
is
years of
fight or
my life.
flight." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and this practice taught me that I had been living my entire life in a state of fight or flight. I'd lived my whole life in this challenging energy, this fighter energy, this I'm going to compete against the world. I am defensive, I am offensive, I am a fighter. But our bodies aren't meant to keep up with that.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
so the autoimmune was my body's way of saying, girl, if you don't stop, we're going to kill you. If you don't find a way to calm down, we're going to put you under the ground.
Right. Okay, so I live in Wisconsin where for about 10 and a half months out of the year it is 33 degrees. That's a slight exaggeration. It's only 9 months here. Um how come I can't just go outside? Like cuz sometimes it's like literally 0 out. Like why can't I just go outside naked?
Cold air affects the surface of the skin. Cold water penetrates and affects your body's internal core temperature.
Mm,
So I think of cold water as like cold concentrate. Cold air is effective. That's why cryo is so popular. It's effective. It's also very easy for many people. When we submerge in cold water, specifically all the way up to the neck in order to stimulate the vagus nerve,
mm.
we
Oh
can get
shit.
up to a
That's my
520% increase in norepinephrine and dopamine. Those effects last for hours, sometimes days. When you adopt this as a regular practice, you are retraining your body how to produce those feel good chemicals on command.
Okay, so how cold, how long?
33 degrees,
I don't
2
want to.
minutes.
Okay, sorry.
Because we think if I feel this good at 2 minutes, well, then I'll feel like Superman or Wonder Woman at 10 minutes. And the truth is, this is a minimum effective dose practice. 2 minutes for max health benefits. Now, saying that, my sweet spot's usually about 3:30.
Okay.
So you find for yourself where that sweet spot is, but 2 minutes full submersion up to the neck, hands, arms, feet in.
Do you have to do longer if it's not that cold? So, like, if it's a
Yes, the
balmy
warmer the water
45.
is, the longer you have to stay for that effect. Keeping in mind that once you're over 45 degrees, you're just not going to get that 1-2 punch the same way that you do when you activate fight or flight.
Okay, when you say the 1-2 punch, what's the 1, the 2? Sorry.
Norepinephrine and dopamine.
Oh,
So you're going to get that experience of norepinephrine and dopamine from 55 or below. But if you want that surge, you want that 520% increase, you want that change in your metabolic health, you have to activate fight or flight. It's got to be below 35 degrees.
shit, I thought you said 45. I'm, like, fighting for every degree. Okay, so it's below 35. 2
35 Fahrenheit, yeah.
okay, okay, alright.
And now keep in mind, this is how I feel about it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I am someone who has reversed autoimmune through this practice. I'm someone who has now guided thousands of people, not only through their first ice bath, but also helped hundreds of people reverse autoimmune, reverse cancer, create a completely different picture of metabolic health for themselves, helps with PTSD, post traumatic growth, substance misuse recovery, you name it. And I've worked with people from all over, with all walks of life, all different maladies, in order to help them through the cold and find the ways the cold is going to benefit them. So through this practice, we ended up creating a product because when we got into this practice, my two business owners and I, my two business partners and I, there was nothing on the market for the home user. So we created the space for the home user. In addition to creating the space, we also share the knowledge. I created the Morozko method. This is a sensory immersive, mindful meditation to help you move through that stress response in the cold or anywhere in life with a mindful practice. I now teach and certify guides all over the world in this method so that they can then help their clients, their guests, their customers, whoever it is, their friends, their family, move through the cold with a calm and intentional mindset. I believe the way we meet the cold is a direct reflection of how we meet our stressors in life.
Mm.
Use the cold as the safe place to experience that fight or flight, to re experience that trauma from a place of safety so that we can teach ourselves the practice of response rather than reaction.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're teaching your body to surrender to what's not known, like to pain, to discomfort. We have a very comfort seeking society. And so like that's the hurdle to come overcome of like I don't like that's my hurdle. I don't want to be uncomfortable. And it's like, well, how is that showing up elsewhere in life? And you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't expect this to be like a mental spiritual thing. I thought I was just getting in a cold plunge so I could make a TikTok."